The date, time, and location were properly announced. And we will start off with the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of June 21st, 2021. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Brian, is there a second?
I'll second.
Chuck, any questions or corrections? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have payment of the bills. Is there a motion to approve the amount for June of $1,140,290.92?
Make a motion.
Brian, is there a second?
I'll second.
Matt, any questions or discussion?
I was just going to add for this, this number is a little bigger than sometimes other months, but with looking where our budget was, paying off some things, we were able to pay off a bus and some other things. So I feel like we were frugal enough this year to be able to do some things that will set us up for get rid of some structural debt. So that number seems a little high. That's us kind of taking care of.
Is that one of the leased buses that's being paid off?
Yeah, two. I think it might have been two of them. I know Patty's on vacation this week. But I think
It says two.
Yeah, so
And then
two
the
buses.
grasshopper, that was something
Yeah,
else.
the lawnmower. Yeah, so we lease things, and then if the budget allows, then we can pay them off. So really trying to work on that structural debt. So now that's an extra $60,000 next year that we won't have to. So.
Any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And the cash summary.
I don't know if that's, I think it's in here, but I just want to, and we'll see later on that Mr. DeBrew is leaving us, but one of the last things he did is we hosted some events in June, and although we didn't have a lot of athletic money coming in because of COVID and everything else, I'm trying to think those two events were a couple $1,000s that came in. So we have great facilities. I think baseball was fantastic. And softball. So we always hope our kids are a part of it, but even when they're not, it's a great way we're highlighting our community. I know our local restaurants love these people coming in, so just some of the little things that we do that help us, but also help the larger good.
Okay, any questions? All right, next we have comments from the public. I have Jeff Turnus signed up to speak, so.
Yeah, Jeff Turnus. A lot of you know me already. I'm just going to address I have some concerns about the high school boys soccer team, possibly not having a team if we can't get enough kids coming into it. For those who don't know me, I'm a lifetime resident of Random Lake. I have 3 great kids in the school, and I consider Random Lake an excellent school to be at. I played soccer 94 to 97, and I've been the club president for the last 7 years. After a few messages with Dr. Trimberger today, found out that we were interviewing for a coach, and I'm hoping it went well. Once we find out, hopefully this week, if we have a coach, I'm asking the school board, the school, and whatever other resources that we have to get the information out to the parents and players as soon as they know, so that we can possibly get a team. We are at July 18th right now, and that is late in the fall. So why do we need to do this? The Random Lake Soccer Club has been around forever. Our program is one of the strongest in the community. We have 110 kids, and we've always had 110 plus kids in there. There's a lot of effort put into this club by myself, coaches like Dan. Amy was a coach, my wife, I think I said that already, the kids and the parents. Why do we need to have a high school soccer team? Why do we have to do this? Because all those kids look to those high school players as a role model and possibly moving up to it. I have a U14 team right now that's very excited to come up. The coaches both, they'd be willing to coach. I got out of them, and they really feel good that this team can compete well coming up. Once we lose a team, if we can't get enough players, how are we going to get this team back? I know there has been a little turmoil on the high school soccer team. Not going to get into that, but this could be a great fresh start for the soccer team if there's whichever coach is chosen. And whichever coach is chosen, please, wherever we can do, I don't know where we can. We can put it on our Facebook site, but that's about it. To get the word that high school soccer has a coach, and we can move forward. I do not want to make this a football versus soccer thing. Absolutely not. I've talked with Brandon Gibson, Chad Keller, Justin Fonich, how we can make the two programs work together. The sooner that we can get this coach announced, being a small school, can football, soccer, high school work together so that we can hold players to play games on Tuesday, Thursday, football games Friday, maybe some Zoom meetings for football on the plays. You gotta be creative. Not every kid is meant for football. Big 250-pound guy can't run 12 miles. And not every kid like myself. I was 115 pounds soaking wet when I was in soccer back in high school. I would have got creamed on the football.
Can you tell the Army that?
What's that?
Can you tell the Army that?
So, I mean, we have to. And I guess last, if we want this to be to our advantage, losing a sport is definitely not the answer or an option. We have to put all the work in together to keep these sports here. That's going to be the advantage. So, thanks for your time.
Great, thank you. Thank you for coming out tonight. And we will be discussing that,
That's part of the.
part of our closed session
and the
for
staffing.
personnel.
Yep.
Okay. So, yeah, hopefully we'll know something.
Yeah, honestly, Jeff, I'm hoping tomorrow Wednesday. So we know we have soccer, first day of practice is the 17th of August, so we have 5 contact days, there's a lot that needs to be done. So
Okay,
it'll be
great.
very quick.
Thank you for moving forward.
You bet, you bet.
I have a parent who says they can't access the coaching. Everybody else is saying it too.
Can you tell? She said one of the parents is saying they can't get online to
The virtual.
the virtual, but
Hey, Samaj, how many people do you have online right now? Three on there? Okay.
so you guys are welcome to stay. But if you got things to do, we're not going to hold it against you. Is it going to be
Always
exciting? It's riveting. That's what it is.
All right.
But we'll be in touch, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Don't forget your drink.
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay, next we have building reports.
So, we had some conflicts with some things with the ladies, and I'm like, you know what? Instead of being home coming back, I said I can take it this month because all these things are just some big things that we're doing. So Sandy and Susan are excused, and Patty's on vacation, so that's part of being in July. But just a couple things here: the completion of summer school. Just a big kudos to our entire summer school staff. Our numbers, last I heard, were at or maybe even a little bit more than they were 2 years ago with students coming back for summer school. So I think they did a nice job. The teamwork of our summer school administrators is a place where we kind of get younger administrators a little bit of experience. So it's Darren Holzer and Julie Moyer, and they've done a really good job trying to keep it fresh. Along with Miriam, and Miriam is pretty much the piece that keeps the communication out there and everything else. So great numbers. We have one more. We'll have Jumpstart in August. From there, all of our scheduling is done. I know there's a little celebration with the high school, so pretty soon student schedules will be coming out. I know they're filling some gaps and doing some things with that, so that'll be coming quick.
What do you mean celebration with the high school?
Well, just getting every time you get the schedule done, because one of the things is you have so many different classes and so many conflicts. It's like putting the most difficult Rubik's Cube together ever. And then you pop it in and then it says, congratulations, you have 98%, 75%. So I know Julie and Susan put a lot of pressure on trying to make sure every kid gets every class that they want. And it's not possible, but just always trying to tweak it and come down. So that's the celebration piece. Now, unfortunately, there's always going to be conflicts. But I think we're doing some creative things with offering access to the fitness center if there's a conflict. So you can take any other class. So let's say you have 2 classes you chose that are in second block, along with all the other classes that are open, because there's other classes that you can pick that'll have a gap. You can choose the fitness center, or you can do community service, work study, things like that. So I think we have more and more options for our students that when they have those gaps in their schedule, that we can actually fill them with something that are impactful and meaningful to their education needs. So, and always trying to find different ways. And then the other one is I'm really looking at dual credits, working with LTC and virtual and other places where our students can get college credits for some of those. So, always try to make sure that even in a small setting where we don't have all the classes, some ways that can be an advantage, because then we can find some other things that get them outside of the bricks and mortar school year too. One of the things for strong culture, refreshing the Ram Way for all students this fall. There's just going to be a revitalization about what the Ram Way is, really kind of coming with our, at the elementary, it's be safe, be responsible, respectful, and safe. The high school is looking at some different pillars, but really trying to bring that back a little bit. I feel like this last year we missed some of those things that were the things that got us to where we were. So it is just kind of remembering and refreshing it. And the other thing for community connections, next week is Wizard of Oz. As you can see, our parking lot is pretty much full. And that's not because they're here, it's because they're all in our auditorium getting ready for that production. So I think, I was talking to Kim today, when you have two organizations using a facility, there's a lot of mechanics that go into that. But it's a great partnership. LPI has done some things to give us lighting that we would never have otherwise. And we're able to give them a space that honestly is perfect for what they're looking for. So those are the building updates for today or for this month.
Great. And summer school's over now, right?
Yes, yeah, until Jumpstart.
Okay.
That'll be 4 days in August. That will do.
Can you still sign up for Jumpstart if you want?
Yes, you can still sign up for a Jumpstart. Please do. Last I heard, enrollment was good, but I don't have those numbers in front of me.
Okay.
So.
Is that for all class levels or just elementary and middle?
We're adding more and more opportunities for high school. Like Jumpstart for our AP students. I know Mr. Hatfield had done something with that because it gets to be, AP is a pretty regimented piece. So I know there is some Jumpstart for high school students, and then elementary and middle school. It's elementary does a lot of assessments because to know how kids are growing, you got to know where they're coming to us at the end of summer. So if we can use Jumpstart to do some fun things and get all our students assessed in different grades, it allows us that opportunity to use the impactful days of school, summer, or of the regular school year, to make sure they're learning. So we have an assessment team that are doing it. And then we just do some fun things while students are doing that. So it's, I think we're in year number 3 or 4 of it, but it's been a pretty successful thing. And Jumpstart came to us for that. If you weren't here, my second year, we took the schedule and we're starting September 1, and we went down to 171 days. We've done longer days, shorter calendar. And the thought was, we did that, but then we also increased summer school. And we said, parents, we really want your child to take part in at least one summer school. Because statistically, we know there's summer slide. We want you to do this. And we're seeing high percentages. I'm not even going to guess the number, but high percentage of our elementary students are taking part in at least one of the summer school sessions. That's good.
Okay. Board committee reports, administrative and support staff.
Today, we talked about making some changes to the support staff handbook.
Okay. Later in the agenda. And teacher negotiations. Chuck?
We also talked about do minor changes and corrections in the handbook, just to get them updated and current.
Great. Later on the agenda.
Correct.
And buildings and grounds.
Sure. We just had a discussion about the assessment. We're doing a facilities assessment here that'll be taking place over the next 6 months. You may have seen it in here with Ray Architects, and they're going to be looking at everything from our foundation to our storm sewers to our school environmental setting and everything else. So we'll be hearing more of this over the next 6 or 8 months, but we just kind of got together as a group just to kind of say, hey, here's what the next 6 months are going to look like.
Okay, great. All right, next we have the approval of the support staff handbook. Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Brian, is there a second?
I second it.
Rini, any questions or discussion? These were just basic minor changes, nothing big, policy, updating numbers and, okay. Anything else? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve the teacher handbook for the 21-22 year?
So moved.
Chuck, is there a second?
I'll second.
Matt, same thing? Just minor updates?
Minor updates, I think, on relative to how healthcare is covered and paid. things
Okay.
Like that.
Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have new professional staff. Is there a motion to approve new middle school special ed teacher, Lauren Stoltman? Middle school teacher, 6th grade, Margaret Uselman?
Yep.
Technology education teacher, Bria Weicker. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Amy, is there a second?
I'll second.
Chuck, any questions or discussion?
I was just gonna add, I feel like we've done a good job of mixing in some very experienced staff. So as we look at Lauren and Margaret, have some experience. And Bria is a former graduate of Random Lake that's coming back. So lots of energy there. So and having a female in our tech ed department is really kind of a fun piece. So it's been Susan and Sandy have spent a lot this summer just around the staff piece, but really liking the candidates that we're getting.
Great. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have notification of new support staff, middle school professional assistant, Joshua, I'm not even gonna try that. Crayon Hole?
Crane Buell.
Sorry if we butchered that.
Sounds good.
Joshua K?
And Josh is actually one of our bus drivers and enjoys kids so much. He's like, hey, can I spend a little extra time doing this? So
Great.
he's now working with kids in our ID room. So yes, we're really excited. Just showing how the bus thing kind of like is branching out another segment of people to become impacted and help our kids.
Great. We have another notification of paid co-curricular coaches and or advisors. Head football coach David Pfeiffer and high school assistant football coaches Robert Lauterbach and Jim Hirschler.
How long has Robert and Jim been here as assistant coaches?
These are new assistant coaches that Coach Pfeiffer had
Brought over?
brought over and had some experience with in the past. So there it is. We'll have a totally new coaching staff.
And I'm guessing they come with good history and
Yes.
knowledge, and if they were with Pfeiffer.
Yeah.
Good.
So
Good.
I know Jim has experience. Robert, I'm not sure. Robert might be might not have as much experience, but has some good potential. So I think there's some good energy.
He played football at UW Whitewater,
Okay.
Robert did, and then Jim, I think, has had coaching experience with Dave for about 20 years. So I spent some time at the high school football camp this past
Okay.
week and so forth, and was very impressed with all the coaches and how they conducted themselves, their knowledge of the game, and just interaction with kids overall. So
Great to
we
hear
got
that.
definitely a quality staff.
When do we get to meet Coach Pfeiffer? Is he dropping in one of these meetings?
You know what? We will do that, Chess. We actually tonight we should have because we were in interviews till late. But yeah, that'll be something. If you want to make sure we get that for the August meeting, that'd be good. Thank you.
All right, next we have the renewal of the existing line of credit. is there a motion to approve the line of credit at Commerce State Bank for temporary borrowing?
So moved.
Matt, is there a second?
I'll second.
Chuck?
Sure.
Any questions or discussion?
We didn't have to use it last year, we're hoping not to use it again, but every year we need to do it, so we'll keep going that way.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Brian, are you making a motion to designate our official depository, Collins State Bank and Commerce State Bank?
Yes.
Is there a second?
I second.
Rainey? Any questions or discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Notification of the academic standards for 2021, 2022. It's a lot of 20 stuff.
It is.
This is something we do every year.
And this is something we have to do by DPI Records. I can tell you, there's standards, but one of the things that has really transformed our entire teaching method is not teaching to all the standards, but really we call it collecting our power standards. So even though we have to do this every year, the conversation our teachers and our staff have around what are the most critical standards that our kids need to know to get to that next level is the professional development of that. So, and I was fortunate. We were doing a interview for a school psych, and I was explaining to the school psych about the things that we do, and we're looking at contracting this person, and the company actually said, you know what, I've sat in a lot of these contract meetings, and I've never heard a district that's doing all the things that you guys are doing. So just know with the standards and things, there's some really good things that our staff are doing around these standards.
Okay. Any questions? All right, we do need to accept some resignations, with thanks, Jim DeBrew with 21 years of service, and Samaje, what is it? Am I getting it right?
Yes, Samaje.
Okay, and thank you. Is there a motion to accept? Chris, second?
I'll second.
Rainey? Sadly.
Yeah.
And I just say, Mr. DeBrew, Gibraltar has a wonderful leader coming their way. So I think it's bittersweet because he was ready. This is a step he wanted to do, it'll be tough to see him go. And Samaji, I'm going to talk a little bit more about him and something we did last week too. But just been a great testament to what happens when you take young people and you give them some leadership ability. So yeah.
Great. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the contract with CISA 7 for the 21-22 school year. This is something we do every year as well. Is there a motion to approve? These are for services that
Yes.
we need
Yeah.
legally to have someone do.
So moved.
Matt, is there a second?
I'll second.
Amy, any questions or discussion?
Is this number relatively similar? Does it?
It went up a little
Last
bit, just like I went up a couple thousand. We did some checking, and they provide so many things. Big districts have individuals that do things for them. So they have somebody that understands X, Y, and Z. CISA does a really nice job of just making sure that we're covering all those. So everyone's costs have gone up a little bit, so this has gone up. I don't think it's out of the ordinary, and we're still getting a pretty big bang for a buck for $27,000. If we have to hire one person, you're looking at over double that. So that's where it comes in. It's the collaboration, and they have some really good professionals that really do help us. So.
Okay, anyone else? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We need to establish the times of the annual meeting and the budget hearing, which we have set for Monday, October 25th, 2021. Generally, the budget's at 6:15 and the annual meeting starts at 6:30. Is there a motion to continue with that? Brian, you're shaking your head?
Yes. I'll make a
Okay.
motion.
Is there a second?
A second.
Rini, any questions or discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Informational items.
Okay, first of all, we had our, I want to say 5th annual, but we didn't have it last year, so it's almost annual golf outing today. Thank you, Chuck, for having a team out there, and next year we'll make sure we get another team out there. But it was
before Mike.
it was a beautiful day.
We need more big sponsorship, so we're relying on you, Brian.
He'd love to.
I'd love to. I just need to know about it.
Yeah, that was my question, is just like, how is that communicated out to like potential sponsors?
I don't know. I can get a communication, Matt.
We're trying to keep you
Sounds
two
like
out of
a
it.
frustrating.
Well, I can appreciate that.
We'll just put it right out there.
You don't want to get in the wars either.
Facebook, Sounder, things like that. So
There was an ad, I mean, it was last minute, there was an ad last week in the Sounder, and I've done it once or twice, and maybe, no, I think I've done it quite a few. Regardless, I had forgotten about it until one of the board members just happened to run into me and asked me if I was putting a team together, probably less than 3 or 4 weeks ago. So that's how I was aware of it.
Gotcha.
fault on my end. Third week,
And
third
mine
or
as
fourth.
well. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm on the board too, so,
Yeah,
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 we suck.
yeah.
Does anything go out to the Random Light Chamber about it?
I don't,
I mean,
think
would
there
that even be
was.
appropriate?
Well, I mean, the chamber actually gave us chamber bucks, so I mean, everyone kind of
Okay,
knows,
good to
you know,
know.
this communication was tough this year, so, you know, and not, this is one of those things, I can tell you, and, I don't know, let me get into this next one, because, just talking about the Alumni Nation, communication is always tough, and I think, I'm looking forward to how our foundation is going from, let's do a golf outing and give scholarships, to actually come up with a system and be strategic about how we embrace our alumni. There's people that aren't gonna come to a golf outing because they're retired in Arizona or Florida, or heck, we have alumni in Australia and everywhere else. So we're looking at it differently. We've spent the last 6-8 months, the foundation wrote a pretty substantial check to have a company help us find all of our graduates. So in the next 2 weeks, we'll have everyone's name from graduated 1974 and beyond in a database. And then this company will take the database and say, these people live here, this is their email address, and all these other things. So for the first time since I've been here, we will have an alumni association that actually has contacts, you know. So with these contacts, then what we're going to do is, if anyone's gone to school anywhere else or is alumni anywhere else, you get these emails, you know, be for $10 get a mug and all these other things. So we're going to be much, much better at it, because we're going to make it a system and not just, hey, did you email Matt and Brian? No, I didn't. If you don't reply on individuals, but you make it part of a system. So watch out. When we're ready, I talked to Todd today at the golf outing when we were there. We'll be presenting to this group, but it's pretty exciting. And it's something that's growing. The good schools are already doing it. And I think as we look at what we're trying to do for growing our endowment and trying to get more student scholarships, this is what we need to do. People are too busy. Not everyone can golf. But everyone can give back to the students and do it in a way that they can feel like they still have access to what we're doing. So it's going to be a two-way street. We want them to know what we're doing, and we'll kind of go from there. So I'm really excited about that. I don't know if you want to miss anything.
No, I think that's great. It is pretty exciting that we finally are getting more organized. I
And
mean,
that
we're still a pretty young group. I mean, you know, inexperienced.
Yep.
and the control that will remain under the Random Lake Association, under your group,
The foundation.
the foundation
Yeah.
will be in control of this nation
No, it'll be under us, it'll be,
Under the school or under the?
under the school, it'll be under the foundation, so the foundation is actually its own 501c3.
Okay.
That is there to support the district, and it'll be under the control. We'll have our own website, I think it's Ram Nation, RamAlumniNation.com, websites, email, all that other stuff, so they're kind of the coaches to help us be better at this. So they'll be like, hey, what are you doing quarterly? What are you doing here? And I think when we have the communication, I can't believe we're not going to see an increase just because of that visibility and the communication. We're going to, if we do another big event, again, I see the golf kind of being the big annual event, more people are going to know about it. So we'll be signing you up for the Alumni Nation here once,
Yeah,
once you're
we
ready to
should,
go.
we'll have it ready for homecoming. hopefully,
Yeah,
too,
it
so
should
we
be.
can get-
We want to be by fall, so.
Do you have to be alumni? Can you be parents of alumni?
Yes. If you give us your email address, we will take it.
It's a non-discriminatory database.
Legislative update, actually, we didn't have a meeting today, that was canceled, but I did want to take a little bit here for the Governor's Workforce Development Roundtable. We got a call last week, Tuesday, from Green Bay saying, you know, Mike, I know up in Random Lake, you're doing all kinds of creative stuff, and the governor's coming. Would you find somebody, a student that would share something really cool about how the co-ops work and everything else? And it was either trying to find one of our students, because we have some students that are doing some great community service and some other things, and also like Samaje, he was right down the hall. I'm like, hey, I want you to come and I want you to share what this great partnership that we're doing with Lakeland, because it's a great model of what we're trying to do with our high school students too, where take classes, learn what you're doing, and apply them in the field. Samaje has been, I'm going to call on you in a second, and you're going to have to do your second public speaking piece here. But, you know, it was just really cool to have all the people that they could have called, and they asked us to come up and just share to the governor what we're doing. And the governor knows, and this is nonpartisan, but it's nice when the governor knows what's happening in Random Lake. So I thought it was a pretty cool honor. Samaje did a great job representing us in Lakeland. And anything you want to add to that, to the event last week?
I would say it was an amazing experience that I wouldn't have been able to get the opportunity to do so if not for Lakeland and Random Lake. My whole time I've been here since a year, I've learned so much, and everybody I've worked with is amazing. It's probably the best job I've had, and I've had like 5 before this, and this is the best.
Great.
My boss is
Thank you for saying that.
No, and honestly, it was great because he and I had an hour-and-a-half drive. We got to ride together, so it was fantastic. It was just one of those things where, you know, when you're in the grind of stuff, and all of a sudden you get this phone call, and neither of us had our schedules that were like, oh, it's free for a whole day. Let's go, you know, hang out at this event. But it was fantastic. So it was really cool. I thank him for taking the chance on leadership, because, hey, that's not something. Oh, you know, talk here. I think there was 5 or 6 different cameras there. It was pretty much covered across the state. So good stuff. It was fun.
Oh, great.
Great.
Thank you. Anything else?
No.
All right, we do have a closed session. Is there a motion to go into closed session as permitted under Wisconsin State Statutes, Chapter 19, Section 1985, 1C, to discuss personnel and staffing matters? Rainey, is there a second?
Oh, second.
Brian?
Before we vote, I